Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Disqualified.
I was hoping he was gonna wait, but he didn't. I don't even know if they got caught.
I pressed it right as it ended.
In case you didn't catch it, Caleb let out the loudest burp before we hit the
No,
play
that's
button.
not the loudest I've done.
You're probably right.
It's not on film, it didn't happen.
It's not on film.
No,
Didn't
no,
happen.
Yes. Anyway, we're here to talk about Monday Night
It
Raw.
could be AI. Yeah.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw.
Pretty good episode, pretty solid.
Yeah.
Some like 4 and 5-star matches. Promo work,
Which is really bad considering that this is the promo heavy show.
Yeah. But speaking of promos,
Yeah, so we kick the night off with Sami Zayn breaking the 3-week streak of Yeet Man opening the show.
Yeah. We'll see him later, but
Yeah, we'll see him later. So he comes out and he cuts a response to Kevin Owens' promo on Friday, in response to Sami Zayn's promo on Friday. And he basically says, I want to fight, let's fight. Adam Pearce comes out and says, no, that's not a good idea.
you're not medically cleared. I've said no. Nick Aldis has said no. The board of directors have said no. We legit can't make this match.
Yeah, and then, just to cut right to the chase, unsanctioned match at Elimination Chamber.
The ref is just there to count to 3.
Pierce said, I can't stop him from wrapping a chair around your neck. Him taking you up to the middle of the concourse and beating him. Or him beating you. And I can't stop him from lifting you up for a pile driver and ending your career. And Sammy said the mirror of all three of those statements.
Being like, I can do the exact same thing to him.
Yep. And then to end the segment, Pierce said, it is not official. It is unsanctioned. And walks away. And yeah,
I'm looking forward to this match.
I think it's going to be the best match outside of the chamber matches.
Yeah.
It might even beat out the chamber matches for match of the night.
Yeah. These two have been going at it since they've started becoming pro wrestlers, even on the indies, on the developmental stage, in NXT.
Yeah, El Generico and Kevin Steen, if you can find any of those clips from ROH, just go watch them. They're fucking amazing. Yeah, I've been Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in NXT, and then on the main roster, another chapter. Amazing.
Yep. And then we cut to the Judgment Day Clubhouse.
Yeah, we get a panning shot, and we see a vest, a bunch of Judgment Day props, a couch, and chicken tender pillows. Dino Nugget pillows, even. For, of course, Dominic. And Carlito says, hey, give me your credit card so I can get the DLC.
I don't care if the new game's coming out in a couple months. I need to play as me this game.
And I'm already base game. But yeah, so this is pretty much just Liv and Dom talking about like, hey, I was mean to you the past few weeks. I really don't care for their love storyline.
But then they talk about how
Naomi and Bianca are here on Raw.
Are looking for them. They're headhunting them.
Yep.
Dom has a match. It's actually our first match of the night against AJ Styles and our mate. And they also bring up how our main event is going to be Finn's match against Seth Rollins to qualify for the Chamber.
Yeah, and speaking of Finn, here he walks in. And he's pretty much saying, he said what he said last week of no new members.
Yep.
And he's pretty much saying, I'm going to handle business tonight, go on to the Chamber.
Handle business there. Raquel also has a match with Roxanne Perez tonight. Yeah.
For her qualifying spot in the Chamber. And but let's cut to that first match.
Yeah.
Dominic versus AJ Styles.
The phenomenal one versus the dirty one. That was
I'm
call
going to
it-
flame you so hard off this camera, boy.
Just call him what he is, a cuck.
Oh, no. Come on. You can't say that about your fellow trucker mustache man. All right, yeah, but getting into the match, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
They've trusted Dom with taking on first time returnees.
Mm-hmm.
He did it with Randy. He's doing it now with AJ, and I believe he might have done it with Kevin. It was some other person that he wrestled, and it was their comeback match from injury. I'm forgetting,
Yeah.
but they trust him. He's a safe pair of hands.
Yeah. Also, I feel like this is how they pseudo push him as well, being like he's facing all these legends and holding his own for a little bit, but he's just not main event ready yet.
He's just not there yet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they're just like, be patient. He is still a very young talent, but here's him facing all these legends to show he can work. And they're right, he can work.
Oh yeah, no, he's amazing. People have said online that Dom should be in the spot that Logan Paul is, and I agree completely, because Dom is better in every aspect.
In terms of showing up to work, defending titles when he has one, and just...
He's better on mic.
Yep.
He's better in ring.
Yep.
Just because you can do some flashy moves doesn't mean you're good in ring. If you can actually pull off a decent match without having to get your hand held, is what determines if you're a good wrestler or not. And I think Dominic has proved that countless times.
Yep.
But
this match was good. We were kind of expecting for AJ to finish the match out with the phenomenal forearm, but he pulls out his other very famous finisher.
yeah, so how we got to the end of the match. I think Dom hits a 619. No. I'm going to just skip to the part that I can actually remember.
Yeah.
Carlito jumps up on the apron, and AJ Styles kicks the ropes into his nuts,
Yeah.
and he spits the apple.
Yep.
Pretty good spot. I love it whenever they can. I just love Carlito spitting the apple.
Yep.
I pop for it every time.
Yep.
And then we get the pop up Styles Clash. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles wins.
Yep. But as he is celebrating his first triumphant victory since injury, we see someone in the corner.
That is Braun Breaker, and he's here to spear a motherfucker. AJ ducks out the way, and Dom eats the spear.
And that man was dead.
Oh yeah, he was dead.
Yeah, he's just like, I just got Styles clashed for like the first time in forever.
And then he stands up and gets hit with a fucking insane spear.
A average 20 mph spear.
Yeah, and then it leads to a stare down between Breaker and Styles. Breaker is outside the ring after getting hit with a sidekick. And Breaker tears off his shirt, throws it at Styles, and Styles catches it.
Yep, it's like, oh, that's that dad instinct.
That is unintentionally going in the top 10 best, like, unintentional moves in WWE.
Yeah.
Up there along with Bray shooting when Roman hits a spear.
Yep. Another Roman spot is Roman catching Brock Lesnar's mic at SummerSlam.
Yeah, there's a ton of goated moments that happen unintentionally.
Yeah.
But this leads to a stare down after he tosses the shirt because they both look at the IC title.
Yep.
And they both run for it.
Yep. Braun grabs it.
It was a bit of a tug of war, and then Braun gets it, and that's pretty much the end of it.
Yeah. And I brought this up to you do you think we see this match at Chamber, or do you think they build it up till Mania?
I think it is going to be a 2-month build. And here's why. I think they could slot this in at Chamber. Probably won't at this point. But I wouldn't be mad if they did one where Breaker wins and then ones where Styles wins. I think Styles is winning at Mania if they do it at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be a better stage for Styles to win it at. and he gave Braun his first Mania. But
Yeah. But this changes a lot of people's draft for Mania because a lot of people were like, where's Sheamus? Where was Sheamus tonight? Well, speaking of Sheamus, for those of you who are not in the U.S., during the U.S.'s usual commercial break, he got a promo from A-Town calling out Sheamus for some reason.
oh yeah, that's another thing. Following Vengeance Day, A-Town is looking to continue teaming for the foreseeable future.
Yup.
So, what the fuck are we doing?
Separate these two.
Why is A-Town feuding with single stars now?
Yeah. Legit separate these two because...
I think they're finally using their brain cell, their
Yeah.
shared brain cell,
Yeah.
in deciding, hey, we're going to go after singles people because we have the numbers advantage.
Yeah, but
Except
like,
your first target was Oba Femi, and that was dumb as fuck.
that was a mistake. You just thought because he was an NXT star you could take him. That mother F is Oba Femi.
Oba Femi.
They call him the ruler for a reason.
But yeah, I don't know. I hope this is just a short little thing.
Yeah.
Maybe this facilitates the return of Tyler Bate. I'm not sure how that would happen, but who knows? Stranger things have happened in WWE for sure.
Yeah. But speaking of things dragging on, our next promo is with your World Heavyweight Champion Gunther.
Yeah, and he enters from the crowd.
Yeah.
So we cut to the concourse, and we think it is Yeet Man himself, and no, we just see a big Austrian man with a gold belt around his waist.
Being like, you know what? Let's see what all this hype is about.
Yeah, and he cuts his promo in the crowd for like the first half of it, and he says,
Y'all stink.
he said, y'all stink, and he also said wrestling a good match in front of you is like reading Shakespeare to dogs. Which is a Zack Sabre Jr. line where he said, putting on a beautiful technical wrestling match for an American audience is like reading poetry to dogs, or reading Shakespeare to dogs. So that's a good line. That's a good callback to a good line.
Yep. But
We get to the bottom of the crowd.
Yep.
And Gunther starts cutting his promo. I think he starts in the ring for a second.
Yeah.
And then moves to the commentary table.
Yep, being like, you two, as people who get paid to be as impartial as possible, tell me, do you actually believe that Jay has a single chance of beating me?
And poor Pat McAfee. He needs to answer the question. And he basically says, look, there's a chance. I think he could do it. He said, you can yeet here, yeet there, yeet anywhere. So it could happen.
Yep.
And right as Gunther is about to murder Pat McAfee on TV,
Oh, so...
main event Jey Uso comes out and they get into another little brawl.
Yep.
Gunther doing the weird thing of fighting with the belt around his waist.
Yep. I think it was extra protection to make sure he doesn't get speared to death, but...
Yeah, that is smart actually. I did not think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's another nice little brawl.
Yeah,
Gets broken up pretty
Security
easily.
comes out, but Jay ends up on top this little brawl.
Yep. And now, 9 more weeks of hell for Jey Uso. Even though week 1 wasn't that bad. It was just Gunther telling a kid, get out of my way before you regret it, or some shit like that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, but how do you, I guess, with someone who got a little bored of Jay real quick, how do you feel about that this might continue weekly for?
It's gonna have to. It all depends on how well they craft it going forward. You know, if they have it continuously be Gunther punking Jay out. It's going to be not that shocking when Jay wins, because we all know Jay is going to win.
But like how they did Gunther over last week and now Jay over this week.
Yeah, if they keep doing it flip-flop, it's going to get boring, because it's going to be, okay, so next week he's going to get the one-up, and then he's going to get the one-up, and it becomes very predictable. And then you also have an issue of, if it's just Jay fully through, going over, and continuously punking out Gunther, you make Gunther look like a weak champion.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act. I assume at some point Roman's going to come back. We're going to get some interactions there. We might get some interactions with Jimmy.
We'll also cut to his little interview promo now about with Gatti Kelly, and we saw a little bit of Crash Out Jay returning in that interview segment, being like he's sick of people doubting him, sort of just rehashing what he said, but he's like, Gunther's trying to get into my head by legit asking people to their face while he knows I'm watching if he thinks I can beat him. And like, I don't have the best track record against him, but I know this time I got it.
Yeah, it would really suck. Like, it sucks if they go through all this and Gunther wins.
Yeah.
Like, either way, it's gonna be bad for Jay, unfortunately, because he has that vacuum of internet wrestling community where half of them just fucking hate his guts.
Yeah.
I just got bored of the act very quickly. I was all in for it, but then when they started really pushing yeet, I think that's when I was like, okay, we're just turning him into a catchphrase merchant.
Yeah.
But it's working. I'm really behind him again after that first promo on Raw. Not gonna lie, that really turned me. But it just, usually for Jay, it's the same thing every week. Now he's actually doing stuff that's different promo-wise.
Yeah.
Which I am all for. We have Gunther there, also standing like a tall champion. Yeah. It's good. They can fuck it up. Really badly. They can.
Yeah. Speaking of the internet community, actually, a lot of the discourse is coming from a decent chunk of the discourse is coming from people saying that they are putting over quote unquote 3-move wrestlers. And some people are fighting back, being like, they've done that in the past. Y'all are cheering for John Cena to finally get another title, and he is legit known as the 5 moves of doom, man. And it's like,
oh yeah,
WWE has a track record of sometimes the people they put over don't have the biggest bag, but
Hulk
it's
Hogan, Ultimate Warrior,
even Gunther. Like, sure, he pulls impressive stuff out of his bag, like power bombs and stuff, but in bare bones, he is technical wrestler. Like, you will never see that man do a backflip off the top rope.
And people don't really want to say it. Randy Orton. Sorry. Randy Orton is a very basic wrestler. The thing that also Jay has going against him is people are tired of the Bloodline saga, and they're also tired of, in perception with WWE, if you're a member of this family, you are going to be a star.
Yeah.
And yes, from a fan's perspective, that sucks. Because there's other people that I would love to have this shot. But at the same time, you have to create a new star. There has to be new generations of people coming up. Tag teams split all the time. You get new stars out of that. Jay is and it's weird to say new star because he's been there for so long.
Yeah, 14 years.
Yeah, but it's his first singles run. Granted, when they didn't do anything with him for the first majority of this run, it was pretty lackluster. Then they gave him his IC belt. And that was cool. He had it for 3 weeks. He introduced the blue in it, and it was dope. And then he loses it 3 weeks later to Braun Breaker, and it's like, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And then they had these plans in November, but still from the common fan perspective, you gave us a really big surprise winner and one that people weren't really clamoring for casual fans. And now you're dealing with that backlash.
Mm-hmm.
So, he just has an uphill battle.
Yeah.
He's good. He does have a limited moveset. Him and his brother's match at Mania was rated the worst by Wrestling Observer Newsletter. But if he can pull out a decent match, it's not enough for the IWC. If he pulls out a great match, it still won't be enough for some people. I just want him to update his bag. That's my only complaint.
Yeah.
Update some of the moves. Don't rely on some of the big moves. A big part of why Cena is also still touted as the greatest, but also has a limited bag. In 2015, when he was doing the U.S. Open Challenge and stuff, he started pulling out his fucking bag. He did springboard stunners. He pulled out a Hurricane Rana against CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when you can pull out random moves, that's when people are going to be like, oh, he's not that generic.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't update.
Like,
You can't expect him to change his moveset entirely.
no.
That's another thing.
That's the thing is that, like, when he first became a single star, he did this thing of pay tribute to his family members.
Mm-hmm.
He did the rock slap. He did the super kick. He stole Roman's spear.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe rehash that a little bit.
You can pay homage, but don't let paying homage become your whole moveset.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you are your own star.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see you have your own bag.
Yeah. Like how he turned the spear into his own personal finisher is he has to do a 2-for-1 of spear and then Uso splash.
Mm-hmm.
Like he will always be known as a super kicker too.
Yeah, and that is unfortunate because that is a bulk of his moveset is super kicks, but he can turn it around. People have always changed their wrestling styles. It's just to think he's going to do it in the span of like 1 to 2 months is crazy. It takes training.
Yeah.
You have to be confident in pulling off these moves, especially at Mania, the biggest stage of them all. Like, it is
All eyes on you.
literally all eyes on you, especially for him in this main event. But I can't wait till Mania.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Depending on what happens next Saturday at Elimination Chamber, I can't wait.
Yeah, the build up is building.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We brought up the IC title earlier, but let's hone in on the women's IC a little bit as our next match is your number 1 contenders match versus Dakota Kai and Ivy Nile.
Yeah, so they have a backstage segment before the match with Ivy saying no one cares about the Cinderella story. We've all seen you fail multiple times at getting this, and it's my time.
Yep.
And then Dakota says pretty much, no, I'm going to put you down. I'm going forward to beat Lyra.
Yep.
And so then we progress to the match. And pretty standard match. You got some showcase Ivy Nile moments. You got some showcase Dakota Kai moments. Scary bump at the end of the match where Ivy was tangled up in the ropes and she didn't exactly get the balance correct. And Dakota Kai did a foot stomp and Nile's head went directly into the mat.
Yup.
The ref went to squeeze her hand to get some response to check to see if she was okay.
Yeah.
Took her a while, got it, and then went to the GTK, the go to kick, And 1, 2, 3, Dakota Kai wins. I think it is a strange move, especially with the match being next week.
Yeah.
I thought this is the perfect time. Ivy eliminated Lyra at the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
That's setting up a match, but I guess we just have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting because also in that backstage segment as well, the Creed brothers were also there bragging about how they took out the War Raiders, but Ivy brings up, like, you guys still technically lost. Like,
Yeah.
you got yourselves disqualified. You don't have the titles to show Gable when he comes back, and he's gonna come back.
Yeah. I really, I'm pulling for Dakota. I kind of don't want her to win, though.
Yeah.
I want Lyra to hold it, but if
Yeah.
they're just going to give it to Dakota, give it to Dakota. I don't know why you had Lyra win it in the first place then.
Yeah. It is a weird scenario because when we were heading into the finals of this inaugural tournament, we mentioned how Dakota's over with the fans right now. Like, she keeps having to take injury leaves, but is still so over because of her promo work with Damage Control and just looking back at some of her matches, the bag she has. But then commentary and production brought up how Lyra was always a bridesmaid, never a bride, since coming up to the main roster and even in her last couple months of NXT. And that's when everyone was like, oh, they're going to give it to Lyra, aren't they? And people were okay with it because Lyra is also a good worker and has a bunch of fans, even now more so since she's won the belt. Like, she was the Raw representative in the Queen of the Ring tournament.
Yeah, I just think it's strange because while they obviously went the route of giving it to Lyra, you could have actually turned that story into more of always the bridesmaid, never the bride. But that's also the story now with Dakota Kai, kind of.
Yeah, that's the thing is that
So now you're
both
just
these stars
rehashing the
have
same
been-
story.
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's very obvious that they're giving it to Kai.
eventually. Whether it's in this match, we'll see, but
I hope Ivy Nile interferes
yeah.
and they make it a triple threat. But time will tell.
Yep.
That is next week on Raw.
Yes. And
I mean, we could talk about the Creed brothers and the War Raiders thing. So the War Raiders had a promo
yeah.
basically telling them, you're not ready for war.
Nope.
Next time we fight, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a war.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Basically.
And then it's pretty much moments earlier, and then it's them talking to
yeah.
Ivy before the match.
Yeah. The War Raiders basically to summarize, War Raiders are saying, you pissed us off.
Yeah, and that was dumb of you.
Yeah. It's the freaking War Raiders. I'm like, whenever I hear, like, with a combined weight of 595, the War Raiders, I'm like, why are people messing with these homies?
They don't got no brains. That's why. They don't got no brains.
The Creed brothers, in character especially.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, in character. Like, whenever I call someone dumb, it is in character. Trust me, I know they are acting.
Yeah. But, like, the Creed brothers' characters,
It was a very dumb
especially.
decision.
Yes.
Hey, we're going to take them out by disqualifying ourselves.
Yes. Great. They have not only kept their belts, but now they are more pissed at us.
Yeah. This is what happens when you don't have their teacher around.
No.
Also, still, unfortunately, nothing with Chad Gable.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No
updates.
news on when he's coming back. No updates on who's instructing him.
I just want a vignette of him doing some fuck ass shit. Some fuck ass lucha shit.
And And we get a pan of a, like...
I would pop so hard if he comes across Lucha Underground. I would pop so hard. I don't think that's gonna happen.
No.
I think it's very much he was either gonna go to CMLL or AAA,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah, but people also think because of the use of the phrase dark arts, they are teasing that they are in contract discussions with Malachi Black.
Oh no, they are already talking about both him and Rusev returning.
Yes.
But those are in early stages. Tonight on NXT, Ricky Starks has his contract.
Signs his contract. Yeah, but hey, speaking of AEW people now in WWE, our next match is Penta versus Pete Dunne.
Oh yeah, so another match in this ongoing cycle of Ludwig, Pete Dunne, Penta. To spare everyone the boring details, Ludwig comes out in the middle of the match.
Yep.
Not the match was boring. It's just the boring details of nothing really happened. Penta picks up the win.
Yep. But instead of Ludwig and Pete kind of being like buddy like Ludwig wants, Pete kind of swings on Ludwig.
Yeah, Pete Dunne has said that I don't want your help. I don't want you near my matches.
Yep. I don't need your help.
I don't want anything to do with you.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the Penta portion of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, we get a bunch of vignettes.
Did you see here? Actually, Vamp, I remembered why I was charging the laptop.
Ooh.
They introduced new titles.
Ah.
But just Vamp real quick while I log on.
Yeah, we got some promo stuff leading up to the main event. We see what Karrion's doing now that AOP has gotten released. He is going kind of on a solo act. Because Seth Rollins got interviewed about his plans post if he qualifies for Chamber, and then Karrion, after Seth leaves, interrupts the interview and being like, Sammy, you kind of being stupid right now. Like Jey Uso. I already warned him. His brain's basically dead. The rest of that family. But you, Sammy, I've always had hope for you, and now you're entering this unsanctioned match. You are being real dumb. If you survive it, come talk to me. Maybe we can discuss how to fix that brain a little bit.
Yeah, so Triple H announced on Twitter that WWE ID will be getting their own championships. So they will be defended on the Indies. And that's pretty much all I really know about them right now. Of course, they have the classic white strap for the female superstars.
Yep.
And the black strap for the males. Pretty basic looking titles, in my opinion. They look nice, but pretty basic. They're a more, I want to say, rectangular version of the WWE titles. But they have a nice hint of red on there, and we'll see where they go from there.
And these are basically
for the
development.
So this is not the Evolve Championship.
Yeah.
That will be coming soon. What this is for the WWE ID prospects, which they select certain indie talents, and they give them help with training, easier rides to WWE. Think of it not like NIL, because that's a different deal, but pretty much WWE's scholarship system.
And basically these championships are like... Hey.
So these people are fighting on Evolve. So they will have WWE ID matches where in certain promotions, 2 superstars face off. And if one superstar wins, that gives them a win. And it moves them closer to fighting on Evolve. So think of this kind of like the mid cards for Evolve.
Gotcha.
That's kind of what I want to think about it as. But we shall see with Evolve going on Tubi, what, like March?
Yes, that is the premiere. Like,
So we'll have the title
yeah,
belt
for-
before then, probably.
yeah, first Wednesday in March is when Evolve premieres, but their other development show,
LFG.
yep, has already premiered this Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and there are reviews about it.
Someone said, so this is pretty much just tough enough, and I said, I'm like, you are blind if you did not see that this was just tough enough but reskinned.
Yep, and with clear-cut rules.
Yeah. But good for them. They're actually getting matches in front of a crowd. And it's a good thing because it's the NXT crowd, and the NXT crowd is a very home-based crowd.
Yes, it is also probably the best weekly crowd as well, because NXT has been called a super indie, and like their support for different stars and like even returning stars and their reaction to the TNA crossovers, as well as like that crowd is just happy to be there, happy to see wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So like having LFG matches get taped in front of that crowd, and I believe there might be some plans to have Evolve matches there as well, or no?
I hope so.
Yeah.
From what I've seen about everything with Evolve, from all the clips, it just looks like an empty warehouse.
Yeah.
I really
TV.
hope that they
Yeah.
get to wrestle in front of the NXT crowd, because it's just kind of unfair to Evolve
Yeah.
to
But
stick them in like a garage somewhere.
not only is it helping these people in development learn about crowd reaction, it is probably also the best crowd to learn it in front of, because while NXT is probably the nice people, they will still let you know whether you're good or you suck.
Yeah, and another reason why NXT is so useful, it's for people, because this is going back to the ring discourse for AEW
Mm-hmm.
for Australian Grand Slam. Also, so AEW has a specific version of a 20 by 20 ring.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they have a different version than WWE does. But that's why it's crucial for NXT to be there, to also give people coming from different rings an idea of what they're going to be working in.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think NXT is a crucial part of WWE's functionality at this point. It's crucial.
Yeah. And speaking of NXT,
So, your Women's Elimination Chamber qualifier, the last match.
yep.
Roxanne Perez versus Raquel Rodriguez.
And for Roxanne's entrance, they do something kind of cool.
I think this might have only been in the U.S. because I've seen actual footage of her entrance. But maybe it was just for the U.S., maybe not. But it showed Roxanne's WWE 2K25 entrance.
And then it transitioned like almost frame for frame into her in-person entrance.
Yeah, and that pretty cool. Pretty cool use of the technology. And then we get right into the match, and it was very weird watching Roxanne work a match face. At least in the role of the face for this match.
Yeah.
But she did it well.
Yeah.
She was good as a face. She's great as a heel.
Yeah. Her little spot of Raquel just lifting her up and her being like, "Put me down, put me down, put me down, put me down."
Yeah. A lot of the beginning of this match was Roxanne countered a lot of what Raquel was doing, but as soon as Raquel picked up on the pattern, put a stop to it.
Yep.
This was a very good match. They showed up their 2K ratings. Raquel is an 86.
Which we said was atrocious, especially seeing earlier in tonight that AJ Styles is an 85.
Yeah, it's just a little weird. She's also rated higher than Dom.
Yeah.
Which I was like, at minimum, you should just be one below Dom. So
Yeah.
if you're an 85 and Dom is an 86,
We had opinions.
yeah. But opinions,
Yeah.
neither here nor there. But this match was good. Roxanne picks up the win
Yeah.
by with help,
Yes, because
not intentionally.
no, because Liv was on ringside, of course, but they got a bounty on their head.
And they got cornered by
Yep.
Bianca Belair and Naomi.
Yep.
And they
Right.
started jumping the
Yeah.
fuck out of Liv Morgan.
Yep. Raquel's bodyguard instincts takes over, which distract her from the match a little bit, and that gives Roxanne an opportunity to
Hit Pop Rocks.
Yep, pop rocks into the 1, 2, 3 for the win.
And Roxanne is moving on. Your women's elimination chamber match is set.
Yep, and then we looked at the roster and is like, since we know the winner of this match goes on to challenge Rhea, and we're like, would it be weird if Roxanne won it?
No, I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah.
It would be pretty cool. But the full field for the women's elimination chamber match is Roxanne Perez, Bailey, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Bianca Belair, and
Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss.
Yep, and because of the people in it, that's why we discussed, like, it'd be insane if Roxanne won it, because...
Well, looking at it from a story perspective, so also, we'll look at it the story perspective after this. So after the match, of course, they're still beating up Liv Morgan. They go to do the double KOD in the ring, and Raquel saves them. And then it's announced that next week on Raw, women's WWE title match,
Yep.
tag title match.
Tag title match between Liv and Raquel and Naomi and Bianca.
Yep, and with Jade Cargill at the PC starting today, creative is starting to get in motion, so we might see a little bit of a story progression in this.
Yep.
But also, when it comes to the Elimination Chamber story-wise, Bailey has nothing really going forward unless they do the Roxanne Bailey match at Mania.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss is getting introduced into the
This-
Wyatt Six stuff.
Yep. And is on SmackDown,
Mm-hmm. Then you have the tag team champions.
which were technically drafted to SmackDown in the draft.
Yeah, but they're floating. So
Yep.
whenever they lose the titles, they go back to SmackDown.
Yep.
And then you have Liv, and
Ooh.
it's like,
Yeah.
do we really want to see her versus Rhea
Yeah.
again?
They do have existing beef, but I feel like if Liv wins the chamber, that just confirms it's going to be a triple threat at Mania.
With her costing Io the next night on Raw.
Yeah.
And then you have Roxanne.
Who, while doesn't have a lot of story in terms of a rivalry with Rhea, does have a story about being a record breaker, a bit egotistical, and how
Future of the business. in her
future
eyes.
of the business, and how better do you establish that character than before she is even officially called up, already has a world title match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it would be cool. It'd be a perfect way to bring her up. I also wouldn't be mad at her beating Rhea. That match is kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
I think if it's a triple threat match at Mania, Io's winning.
Yeah.
Because I think the tag titles go on Liv and Raquel next week. With the help of a returning Jade Cargill.
Mm-hmm.
But now, moving on to your main event.
Well, we had a little bit of a promo from the New Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty much what they've been saying.
Yeah. Kofi continues his catchphrase of "so what," and they said that you should be thanking God that we took out Rey Mysterio.
Yep, and then the LWO comes out, led by Dragon Lee, and they jump the New Day.
Yep.
New Day gets away. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, but we were wondering what Dragon Lee was up to because they announced that he was gonna get a push, and then they showed the after the cameras cut segment of Dragon Lee saving Ray, but didn't have enough adrenaline to save Ray from getting his ankle hit with the steel chair onto the steel steps.
Mm-hmm.
So Ray is on
recovery leave.
Is on sabbatical right now.
Yep. And now
your main event, which dadgum, why is Raw giving us WrestleMania level main events?
Yeah, so this started at entrances 9:02.
Yes.
Our time. And lasted the whole last half of the show. Oh my god. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins. Amazing. As always.
Yep. And a lot of people have pointed out, like, y'all talk about how Raw has been putting on WrestleMania main events. Remember who was in all those matches, and it, like, showed Rollins versus CM Punk, Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, Rollins versus Finn Balor.
Oh yeah, Rollins is the guy for WWE. They are the guy that they test you against, at least main roster rise, to see if you're good. There's also, with the exception of Logan Paul with Roman, I think that was very much his test.
Yeah.
Let's see, can you put on a main event level match and can you be compelling in the main event?
Yep.
But that is not. This night is not about Logan Paul. This night is about Seth frickin' Rollins and Finn Balor, and these boys went to town. So very much the story of the night was Finn Balor's leg. Will it give out on him? Who knows?
And then Finn got some rib shots in on Seth and is like, will those rib shots cost Seth? Because he's got some bad ribs and he is very much a core muscle focused wrestler.
Yeah, so highlights of the match include Finn Balor hitting a pedigree on Seth.
Yep. In like the first 2 minutes of the match too, it's like, you already got Move Thief charged up.
Yep. And then he also went for a coup de grace right away.
Yep.
He could not hit the coup de grace for a majority of the match. Seth Rollins goes to hit a stomp on the steel steps on the outside, and Finn counters.
Mm-hmm.
And then pretty much it was just... what's the best way to describe it? Parry a clock?
Yes.
For these two?
Yes. Basically, they were on Ultra Instinct because they knew if a single finisher hits them, they've already used their resiliency this match. They tapping out.
Yeah, so at one point, Seth hits a pedigree. 1, 2, the cleanest kick out I've ever seen.
Yep.
Right as Rod was about to hit 3, Finn stays alive. And then we had a coup de grace.
Yep.
After what looked like a Falcon Arrow superplex spot, but that got thwarted. Coup de grace. Finn took a little too long checking on his leg, and that cost him the pin.
1, 2, kick out.
Kick out.
And then they're like, we gotta.
This was the kick out into a roll up, by the
Yep.
way. 1, 2, kick out, 1, 2, kick out.
Yep. And then they do some strikes to try to charge up their last ditch finisher bar, and Seth got to it first for the stomp.
Well, what happens is Seth hits a amazing cross the ring splash onto the knees of Finn Balor, gets rolled up, 1, 2, kick out. As they are both scrambling to their feet, Rollins gets there faster, hits the stomp, 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins is moving on to your men's elimination chamber match.
And your full men's chamber
Is John Cena, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre.
Damian Priest.
I did not want to. I wanted to save him last and Logan Paul last for a reason.
And Seth freaking Rollins.
There's 2 polar bears in Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, Yeah, we like saw the full card and it's like that I would say that's a stacked card, but there are some outliers.
Like, I'm a fan of Priest. I like his in-ring work. I just don't think he is a type to work in a chamber match, but I would love to be proved wrong.
Yes. Logan Paul, though, will always be a polar bear in Arlington, Texas.
They're more going for the clips, like they did last year for him when he was drawing
Yeah.
about Kevin Owens on the glass.
He gets the social media attention, which I get, but...
Nah, I think the better social media attention was earlier on in the night. IShowSpeed was talking on the stream about taking the spear from Braun. He's like, next day I couldn't move.
Literally, it was announced that IShowSpeed broke the viewership across platforms and the likes across platforms of getting speared. It beat out the most famous clip on WWE socials of Logan Paul and Ricochet's collision at the Rumble.
Yeah. Do you think IShowSpeed could become a wrestler? He's athletic.
He is athletic.
He's young.
Yeah.
He has the charisma.
Yep. He does have the charisma. I don't doubt that he could be a celebrity shoo-in like what they did with Bad Bunny for 2 years. Do I think he could go full-on contract? We'll see.
In other supposed celebrity wrestling news, it is rumored, Sexy Red said that they offered her a full-time wrestling contract.
You had a concert and all of a sudden you want to get hit in the face?
No, they offered her the contract.
Yeah.
And it's like, she's like, I don't have time for that.
Thank goodness, because a lot of people considered that instead of the like quote unquote bathroom break match, a lot of people on that episode of NXT considered that the bathroom break concert, according to the internet.
Mm-hmm. But that is it for this episode of Raw. Like we said,
Yeah. Promos were here and there, but in terms of match activity and stories moving along,
all the matches cooked. I think I think all the matches cooked. Probably my least favorite in-ring work was the women's IC match.
Yeah.
Just because it was a very just basic match, in my opinion. But we will see you tomorrow for NXT. This has been Caleb, Trev, Zach behind the camera as always. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell 3 times so you know the match is over. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for your time.
Bye.
Peace.